topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
Just begun, got a temper like a gun, pointing it at everyone. That's his game, and it helps him to get through the day. But a voice inside him says, how much longer can I play? He's got infinite possibilities, I can see them now. It's an unbroken chain of his past by which he's bound. He's got infinite possibilities, I can feel them now. If you shoot it well, then nothing can tear him down.
It's time to set our intentions, set our self-care, and find our focus. This is Mindful Mondays with Sahara Ali on KBLA Talk 1580.
It is time. She's back. We've missed her greatly. She is a yoga teacher, a life coach, a numerologist, astrologer. You know her from many iterations of my radio shows over many years. Sahara Ali, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, and I'm so happy to be back. And good morning, KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Monday, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions to honor our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation as we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with faith, truth, wisdom, and power. Our call to action this week is reflection. As we honor the celestial influence of Venus retrograde in Leo until September 4th, yes, until September 4th. The purpose of this retrograde planet is about the gift of reframing, reviewing, and renegotiating. All retrograde planets give us this opportunity. Remember, to reframe, to review, and to renegotiate. This happens so the universe can adjust our attention, aiding us to manifest what we want, not what we don't want. Therefore, this is an ideal time to revisit old conversations, deal with old emotions, clear up money issues, along with rethinking all situations where we've given our power away. Venus is a planet of love and beauty. In Leo, there is vanity, expansion, courage, and compassion to reframe relationships, calling us to tell us the truth. Retrograde planets are calling us so that we can tell ourselves the truth about matters of our heart reflecting on whether we're happy, unhappy, and how to get happy. The gift retrograde planets yield is deep reflection with clarity to retrieve our power. Reflection is a vital tool for positive change, enhancing spiritual growth, building a new union of self. So going forward with our Mindful Monday meditation, unapologetically call forth change. Call forth a review. Take a breath, center and ground yourself here and now. Breathe, open to embrace reflection. Calm your mind, calm your body. Take a big breath. And now exhale, opening to divine guidance. Opening to being here and now. Inhale. Pause. Connect with yourself. Now exhale, being on purpose, opening your heart and mind to the gift of wisdom that already exists in you. Breathe. Be in this moment. Be one with your breath. Be one with the power of your ancestral wisdom moving through your soul in this time and space. Exhale, calling on your angels for support, supporting you in releasing what no longer serves your highest good so that you can elevate your consciousness. Inhale, breathing in clear vision, breathing in a new perspective of a path, opening yourself towards peace of mind. Exhale, letting go of the past, making a promise to be on purpose here and now, honoring the power of self-love. Inhale, acknowledge every moment of your life offers reflection, change, and empowerment. Exhale, releasing all ties hindering growth and evolution. Let go, let God. Inhale, going forward, embracing our Mindful Monday affirmation. Just relax, center yourself, ground yourself, connect with the light within you. Taking the biggest breath you've had all morning. Hold that breath, breathing in your power. Now exhale, listen, feel, and embrace truth, reflection, opening your heart to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Calm yourself, just relax. Our Mindful Monday affirmation. Today, I center myself, honoring the wisdom of reflection, open to the gift of clarity and wholeness. Bring that in. Relax your breath and bring that in. Today, I center myself, honoring the wisdom of reflection, open to the gift of clarity and wholeness. Clarity and wholeness. Now, don't black down. Move through your week unapologetically honoring our Mindful Monday affirmation. Honor this affirmation. Use it to embrace reflection, open to the clarity of your wholeness. Today, I center myself, honoring the wisdom of reflection, open to the gift of clarity and wholeness. Thank you, Dominique, Tavis Smiley, Miles, and the 1580 KBLA family. Be mindful of your power. Honor the reframing and regifting of Venus retrograde until September 4th. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, Sahara Ali. It's great to have you back and start out our weeks a little bit grounded, a little bit intentional, a lot intentional, and a lot on point. If you would like to talk to Sahara one-on-one, maybe get some life coaching or do a more in-depth astrological reading, you can find all of her information on saharaali.com. That is her website, SAHARAH, saharaali.com. You could also call her assistant for an appointment at 213-628-9783, 213-628-9783. Sahara Ali, I so appreciate you. Another retrograde for your summer. Hey, we do have a lot to talk about, and I'm happy, so happy that you're here with me this morning. I hope you'll call in and join the conversation, 800-920-1580. I hope you're enjoying the Mindful Mondays. They are available wherever you get your podcasts. I podcast them every time Sahara is on with us. You can find them on the KBLA app. You can find them wherever you get your podcasts. You could also find them on our website. So if you want to repeat that affirmation again and again, or do some journaling based on what you heard, you can do that. All of our shows are available as podcasts. And while you're doing things KBLA related, we're always up on social media. KBLA 1580 on Twitter, or even though it's now X, I guess, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. We're on all of those places. We're actually streaming right now, the show on YouTube, KBLA 1580. Please like, follow, subscribe, and all those good things. And you can also find me at DiPrima Radio. That's my last name plus radio, DiPrimaradio. And I'm most active on Instagram, but you can find me everywhere, even on X, which apparently is losing the bird logo, and it's now going to have an X. It's ironic. It's kind of the opposite of Malcolm X at this point, but that's what's happening. Twitter is turning into X, and I'm not quite sure what that means for the actual website, but anyway, I'm there. It's a great time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So much to talk about from Ohio to LA and all parts east. We got a lot to talk about. KBLA, Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Right now, there's a lot going on in this world, globally and locally. The protests, are you seeing the protests in Israel? Literally thousands and thousands. Some reports are saying hundreds of thousands have taken to the street to protest the government's plan to weaken the power of the Israeli Supreme Court. But apparently they went ahead and vote. They're going to go ahead and vote for that today. And meanwhile, their Prime Minister Netanyahu is in the hospital. It's unfathomable. I mean, that kind of protesting would lead to no compromise or not even a pause. Let's talk a little bit about something I consider a good thing. Y'all may say it's more symbolism and we need more substance, but President Biden is going to sign a proclamation today to establish a national monument to honor Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till-Mobley, they made that announcement Sunday. And of course, Emmett Till is a 14-year-old who was kidnapped, tortured, and murdered in 1955 by white supremacists in Mississippi. And his mom insisting on him having an open casket and making the nation face the horror that she faced was a key moment for the United States and, spurring the civil rights movement forward. This is, some people might say, well, this is like Juneteenth. It's symbolism. We didn't ask for Juneteenth. We didn't ask for an Emmett Till memorial. We asked for reparations. We asked for a voting rights bill. We asked for meaningful police reform or the reimagining of policing. That and I do agree with that. I think we need substance as much as possible. We need substance in all things, particularly related to ending anti-blackness in this country. That said, we're in a time period where the state of Florida is actually calling for the teaching of this idea that slavery was good for black people because they got needed skills. And there's so much wrong with that. Aside from the fact that we had a whole continent full of countries that had systems of government, their own healthcare systems, which are arguably better than the ones we have here, their own way of doing everything from navigation to farming, many of which actually quite the opposite happened. The Europeans learned those methods from the Africans that they were enslaving. I mean, the whole story of the Jack Daniels whiskey is a perfect example that, the guy known as Uncle Nearest actually taught the slaveholders how to make that whiskey, which is now, of course, famous and a big profitable corporation. Many times it's just the opposite. The enslaved persons are the ones doing the navigating, having the farming methods that work, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, aside from the total ridiculousness of that, and I always hate these comparisons, but can you imagine anyone ever saying the Holocaust was good for Jewish people for any reason whatsoever? It would not be allowed or would not be tolerated. This should not be tolerated either. So when you talk about a national monument, it makes it harder to erase the history because it becomes a huge living, well, not living, but a huge, a giant testament to what happened. Let me put it that way. So there's going to be 3 different sites in Illinois and Mississippi. One will be at the Roberts Temple Church of God in Christ in Bronzeville, which is a historically black neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. This is where people gathered to mourn Emmett Till's death back in 1955. So each of these sites that will have a monument is tied to something that happened in that case. There's going to be one at a place called Grabell Landing, which is where Emmett Till's body was pulled from the river. His horribly mutilated, mangled body was pulled out of the river there. There will be a monument to him and his mother there. And the third site is the Tallahatchie County 2nd District Courthouse in Mississippi, where Emmett Till's murderers were wrongly acquitted by an all-white jury. So it's a 3-part memorial, which shows 3 very important pieces of this history: the mourning, the strength of the black people in that community where he was from in Chicago, the place of injustice in Mississippi where his killers were wrongly acquitted, and the spot where he was found, where he was pulled from the river. The other thing about this that I think is beyond symbolism is that the people from the Emmett and Mamie Till-Mobley Institute, Marvel Parker's the co-founder of that, are happy about it. They say they're finally being recognized, that his murder and her heroics, that they're finally being recognized, that this is important to them. And that makes it important to me as well. And, I don't think we have to choose. Do we have to choose between Juneteenth and voting rights? Do we have to choose between an Emmett Till national monument and, a meaningful reimagining of policing in this country? We shouldn't have to choose. It should be both and. It should be both and. And I credit the Biden administration for doing what they can do in this moment, right? Well, I would still like to see the president sign an executive order to move forward with the study of reparations on the national level, on the federal level. I would like to see that. And I certainly would understand him not doing it right now because he wants to be reelected, but I still want him to do it. And at the very latest, it should be right after he's reelected, assuming that happens. I want to see these actions. We know it's highly unlikely that we can get a voting rights bill or any meaningful police reform, ending qualified immunity, or any of the things that make sense, because the Republicans, and not just Republicans, the super conservative people that act like whack jobs are in control of the House of Representatives. So it's highly unlikely that would pass. Doesn't mean we don't try. And big credit to Ayanna Pressley, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, for trying to end qualified immunity. But the fact is, we have to do what we can do, and this is something that can be done simply by the president declaring it so. And it is, for me, we're going to have monuments everywhere. If these folks keep denying our history, there has to be ways to teach it. There have to be ways to write it in stone, literally. Let's go to Dwight calling from Compton. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning to all the great hosts at KBLA, and Miles keeping things running, and all those hardworking postal workers out there. Dominique, I agree with you so much. It's all symbols. The Confederate flag was a symbol. Those Confederate statues were a symbol. So anytime we get anything that gives us a step toward progress, it's a symbol. Yeah, we want reparations, but we have to march. We have to vote. Your vote is a symbol, even because the election ain't over with. But even though you voted, you still got to wait for the election results. So if you go to a restaurant, you place your order with the waiter, but you're still hungry while you're waiting for your food to be prepared. But the fact that you put in what you wanted to eat, you're getting closer to being fed. So
you put your order in, right? Right.
Yeah, you got to put your order in. You can't just not even put an order in, and you further away from getting fed. So put your order in. Everything toward getting us reparations, getting us toward one nation with liberty and just for all is a benefit to us in the long run. So, some of us got to stop complaining. As long as we head in the right direction, as long as we're getting our order placed in, why are we complaining about Biden right now? He put Brown Jackson on Supreme Court. We have a Kamala Harris as a vice president. Manchin and Sinema has blocked his agenda for the George Floyd act getting passed, and blocked the agenda for black people being protected from this racist Supreme Court. And we could see that the Republicans are responsible all the way down the line, from the fact that they said President Obama wasn't born in the United States. We want to see your birth certificate. McConnell blocking his Garland from being placed on the Supreme Court, and held up President Obama for a whole year on his nominee for the Supreme Court, then rushed a Supreme Court nominee through in 2 weeks. So these Republicans don't follow any game plan. Their game plan is just to promote white supremacy. So, so we want a more progressive Democrat agenda, but right now, democracy is on fire, and the fire department is the Democratic Party. So all this no label BS, that ain't nothing but putting votes in Trump's corner. He's trying to get elected president, stay out of prison.
No labels is like the generic. It's like the generic version of the Republican Party. I mean, it's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's Joe Manchin, is their presidential candidate. But I've been checking out the articles, and quite a few articles about them following the money, especially one in Mother Jones, which shows you they're really just a front for Republicans.
Yeah. And I'm even against Cornel West running, because why don't he just address the issues and direct them to the Democratic Party? Right now, they're the fire department trying to put out the fire. We bringing water to the fire. The Republicans are bringing gasoline to the fire. So what do you want? Do you want gasoline thrown on the fire, or do you want water thrown on the fire to put it out to try to save our democracy? We got all this second party BS, later on down the road for that. Because right now we're trying to save democracy. Black people going to have Trump as a president again, and you see what his agenda is. You have your few little token Negroes with you, to show that you ain't president. That's the only reason why they talk to us anyway. Trying to show that we ain't racist. We got Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court, and look what he's doing. He's going right along with the program, So
while enriching himself.
Yeah. I mean, these and the Federal Society are picking these Supreme Court judges, and their agenda is to not pay taxes. That's the only way billionaires don't want to.
Hey, Dwight, hold that thought. We got news, traffic, and sports, then more conversation on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Mega Millions jackpot is closing in on $1 billion. No one won Friday's drawing, making tomorrow's drawing worth at least $820 million. That's the fifth largest Mega Millions jackpot ever. But a lump sum on an $820 million jackpot is $422 million before taxes. African-American actor Jamie Foxx is speaking out for the first time since he was hospitalized in April. After nearly 4 months of recovery and rehabilitation, the Oscar-winning actor was in front of the cameras again this week, shooting a new commercial. On Instagram Friday, Fox didn't reveal details of his medical condition, but said, "I went to hell and back, and my road to recovery had some potholes, but I'm coming back and I'm able to work." And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Looking for a late-night spot to get the crew together? 3 words, Buffalo Wild Wings. They've got drinks and apps starting at $4 from 10 p.m. till close. B-Dubs, where late-night food and drinks start at $4. Cheers to that. Limited time at participating locations. Offers, days, and times may vary. Drink responsibly. Void or prohibited. Tax and fees extra.
Wendy's is open until midnight or later, which means all your favorite menu items are up later, too. The Baconator still tastes just as juicy and bacony at night. So listen to that craving and turn in for the night at a Wendy's drive-thru. Hours may vary at participating U.S. Wendy's.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NBA no longer has a black majority owner. The league's board of governors formally approved the sale of the Charlotte Hornets, ending a 13-year run for Michael Jordan. Jordan was the NBA's only black majority owner. The Hornets now belong to a couple of rich guys named Rick Schnall and Gabe Plotkin. Jordan paid $275 million for the Hornets in 2010. He and his investment team are taking home $3 billion. The Hornets made the playoffs only 3 times under Jordan's watch and were bounced in the first round each time. They won only 41% of their games, the 4th worst record in the league in that 13-year stretch. Florida A&M football coach Willie Simmons suspended all football activities at the HBCU school until further notice. An unauthorized rap video was made in the team's locker room. The administration is investigating. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The other talk stations?
All day, all night, all white.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we sound like the city looks. Now celebrating 2 years of amplifying black and progressive voices. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Extreme heat can make you very sick and can be deadly. For Californians 65 and over, it's important to have a plan. Ask your healthcare provider if your medications affect your ability to cool down. Know the signs of heat illness and stroke, as well as the location of your nearest cooling center or air-conditioned space. And if you have loved ones over 65, be sure to check in on them on hot days. Learn how to stay safer from extreme heat at heatreadyca.com. Brought to you by the state of California.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up? I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align bloating relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align bloating relief plus food digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus next-day energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We don't, and neither should you. It's a messy Monday, by the way. Hour 3, we will be talking about relationships with my new opinionated friend, social media influencer, Austin Holloman. It is a great time for you to weigh in on all your thoughts concerning relationships as well. So Dwight called me from the city of Compton. You can do the same, 800-920-1580. That's the number. Now's the time. Dwight was talking about no labels, also talking about symbols, something that I raised because of the Biden administration's plan to create a national monument in 3 parts for Emmett Till and his mom. And Dwight, you were kind of in the middle of making a point, so I wanted to let you go ahead and land.
Thank you, Dominique. And I love my people so much. And I'm only trying to make us aware if your house is on fire, you trying to run around and holler and get everybody out of there that you can to save lives. And basically, the Republicans shows us every day what their agenda is, trying to say that slavery was good for the slaves, benefited the slaves. I mean, January 6th didn't really happen. It's okay for Trump to steal nuclear weapons documents and try to lie about them and keep them. Every day they show us who they are, but when you catch them in a lie, they change the subject so they can tell you another lie. They never answer the first question that you ask them. So I'm asking my people, just be aware of what's going on. And when you catch Republicans in a lie, remember that lie. Don't let them switch the subject so they can tell you another lie, so they can continue telling you lies to keep us confused and not focused on the first lie that you asked them the question about. And this whole thing about abortion, we for the babies, if they so concerned about babies, why did they vote against every child act to feed children?
You're right. It's just you make it sound funny, but
children.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's all a lie. And that's all they do is tell you a new lie when you catch them in that lie. So they could tell you another lie. Now you confront that lie, and then when you catch them in that one, then they could tell you another lie. So it's a circle of lies. So, Dominique, I love your show. I love KBLA. Keep keeping us informed. And black people, stay focused. And good white people, stay focused. Don't fall for that skin. You get we all came from Africa, okay? And as white people get older, they get those liver spots anyway and start turning brown anyway. So, you know, we all
yeah.
one.
Well, and whether you're turning, I remember, I think it was Dr. Richard King, my instructor at San Francisco State, who said we're all originated from Mother Africa. So the question is, what is your relationship to your blackness? What is your relationship to your melanin? What is your understanding of your origins? And, you know, if you want to go deep, that's really what it is. But it's always good to talk with you, Dwight. I'm laughing because there's, you know, I was thinking about two things. Number one, I had a conversation with a Republican friend yesterday, and she was telling me, you know, she was whataboutisming the whole Trump indictment scenario, the court cases. I believe he has either 4 or 5 court cases between now and summer, the former president, and more on the way. And so my point was whether, you know, whether Biden's just as bad or Clinton's just as bad or blah, 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 blah. It doesn't, what I'm talking about is, I don't agree with that, of course, but what I'm talking about is the fact that this man has got all of these court cases. He has criminal and civil cases against him, which are in process. That's unprecedented, I believe. I was also talking to another very smart friend of mine, a black man, and, you know, who was pointing out that these things are distractions. I mean, here we are fighting about whether or not slavery was good for black people because we learned important job skills, instead of focusing on nailing down our right to vote. You know, here we are arguing about the Barbie movie with Ted Cruz instead of securing our right to have agency over our bodies as women. And so I think while, yeah, it's my job to debunk and debate and bring clarity whenever possible, bring entertainment whenever possible, I'm also mindful of what Dwight just said. He said, stay focused, black people. And I think that is such a great point. Let's go to Orrin calling from Lancaster. Good morning, Orrin.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, you know, I used to have the museum, the RNZ, Black Facts and Wax Museum.
It's that Orrin. Hi, Orrin.
Yes, ma'am. That's that Orrin. And, you know, I'm still the way I used to be. You know, we need to teach our own history. You know, my collection is well known, and I would collect anything about black, for black, against black, just so the story could be told with the truth, with artifacts that could be shown. And, you know, I've been out here in Lancaster now for 10 years waiting for my relocation to come through. You know, how the whole relocation thing is supposed to be, they'll relocate you and get you back where you were. Well, I'm still waiting 10 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
But I still have all the artifacts. And I think what we
Where
need
are
to
they? They're in storage?
Yeah, I have them.
Wow.
You know, I have them. You know, I planned the march before I left, you know, with the containers. So, yeah, I have 9 containers full of our history, cargo containers full. But, you know, what I'm really trying to do at this point in my career is just have some of the things archived, have some digitally so that this information can be shared globally very easily. You know, with the way the world is now and with everybody on computers, we need to get some of this stuff out. So a lot of the stuff that I have been collecting, some of the hundreds of thousands of pieces I've been collecting, from art to, derogatory minorities, just needs to be put in a digital platform. And it won't take that much. I'm too old now, I think, to rebuild a museum. And I don't think they thought it'd last this long. Neither did I. But, I'm still here. The stuff is still here. The story can still be told. And, I'm neutral. All I am, I get the facts, I show the facts. And I let people think what they want to think. And the things that I collect goes from children up to college graduates or beyond. But I'm just trying to figure out, how do we preserve the truth?
Well, that seems like something that's somebody would give a grant for. I mean, that seems like something the California Arts Council or someone would offer a grant for. It's also, it feels like it would be of interest to some larger museum to archive these things. I've been selected by the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives, which are housed inside the Oakland Black History Museum, to digitize all of the shows I did on home turf and digitize the shows that are still remaining from Street Science and Front Page. And that's something they reached out to me to do. I can imagine there must be a museum somewhere that would be interested in archiving your collection digitally so that it could be available for generations to come, as they try to erase our history and the history of what's been done to Black people in this country, a lot of which those stories are told through your collection. Orrin, hold that thought. I'd love to hear what you think about the idea and what else we need to be doing to push back on this aggressive erasure of the truth in education right now, particularly around Black people. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Hollywood Walk of Fame stars in 2024. Stay tuned to find out who's in next year's class. I'm Aisha Cairo with your K-Black Minute News. A new group of 31 entertainment professionals across film, television, radio, recording, and sports entertainment will have their names etched into Hollywood's history in 2024. One of the most celebrated names on the list was the beloved Chadwick Boseman. Others for the class of 2024 in Hollywood Walk of Fame was this year's Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the motion picture category. Other notable names include Chris Pine, Gwen Stefani, Andre, Dr. Dre, Young, Otis Redding, Christina Ricci, Brandy Norwood, Harry Washington, and more. The dates for the star ceremonies have not yet been scheduled. To find out all 31 inductees, visit youtube.com/Walk of Fame.
Need a fresh start? LADWP income qualified customers can get up to $15,000 tax-free to pay overdue water utility bills with the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program. Benefit amounts may vary and will not impact other benefits. Visit LADWP.com/cares and apply today. That's LADWP.com/cares.
your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, and Orrin Z called me at 800-920-1580, and you can too. Orrin was talking about his vast collection of black artifacts, many of them reflecting the racism in this country. You know, the artifacts that really capture attitudes and campaigns, branding of black people through a white supremacist lens. He has all of them, I guess, in storage at this point, and was talking about how do you preserve these things? How do you preserve them digitally? I wonder what you thought about that, you know, teaming up with the museum. And also is this going to be enough? Like, I'm thinking about this Joe Biden 3-part national monument to Emmett Till and his mom, and I think it's important and it's good, but then I think, you know, is that enough? If history books are going to start saying slavery was good for black people, and it becomes illegal to say certain words. I mean, I thought about the celebration of Juneteenth, where many now teachers will not be allowed to teach about slavery. So what are we celebrating the end of? Is it going to be enough to have these symbols and these monuments? And even your collection, which tells a story by itself, is that going to be enough to push back against the aggressive erasure of our history and the truth of this country's origins?
Well, we always have to move forward, you know, Dominique, because basically the reason why I collected these things, I started collecting when I was 6 years old, and I thought that I was really doing something fantastic because I just didn't know that anything out there existed about people of color, black people. So, you know, I always was interested. Anytime I saw a picture of a black person on some advertising or on some books, you know, that's how I started out until I started buying libraries and books. But, you know, there's a whole lot of things. I was going to address one issue about about the Hip Hop Museum. I have a copy of the very first record that a black person was on, The Laughing Coon, in the collection.
Wow.
I have almost a container of records.
Yeah.
You know, from round discs to the cylinders to the one-sided LPs to cassettes to 8 tracks and everything to play them on in the collection.
That's amazing.
But what is enough? I mean, I know that just as one person that I am, I can never do, you know, a lot because, you know, I'm not that brilliant. But, you know, I'm trying.
Pretty
and
brilliant.
I think that we all,
I'm not the brilliant judge, but you seem pretty brilliant to me. You start collecting artifacts at age 6, and you've been doing so ever since.
Yeah, and I have over 150 books on Amazon. So
wow, that's amazing.
But, you know, we need to do something. And the reason why I say that, I've never got a grant. You know, I stopped applying for grants. I used to go for grants, and to me, they were just a waste of time. You know, the only one grant that I've ever received, I just gave it to some artists so they could go on with their adventure. But, you know, it wouldn't take that much to get a few people to just take pictures of these items and put these items up, wrap them up, you know, properly, and do some of the things that we have, you know, that's very possible. I've talked to a lot of the organizations. I belong to a lot of the so-called history organizations that always are talking about inclusion, but like you said, they go back to slavery. And like I always said, well, you know, black history didn't start in slavery. History started at the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of black people there. And in recording that history, you know, we got to go all the way back to Egypt. And we see that some of the first things of this and first things of that were done 5,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's keep the conversation going, Orrin. I hope you'll call me again and again, because maybe if we keep talking about it, someone will get inspired. To me, I don't know her, but this seems like right dead center in Oprah's bailiwick. She's got, you know, chains and other such artifacts in her home, slave chains. I just think we got to keep the conversation going until we, you know, find a way, because I think your collection is very important. Appreciate you, Mr. Orrin Z. We got Dr. Melinah Abdullah on the phone. I'm not sure if you're calling about that police dog mauling the guy in Ohio. That's crazy video that came out on NBC. last night, around 23-year-old Jadarius Rose, or if it's something else. But Dr. Melinah Abdullah, good morning.
Good morning. No, I'm actually calling in about this crazy Black history curriculum that's outrageous and enraging, and have some thoughts on what should be done and why this is being done, and why they're so afraid of Black studies. So I wanted to chime in. I was resisting calling, then I was like, nah, I got to call in.
Yay.
So I just think it's very clear what's happening, that on the right, they know what Black studies does, how empowering Black studies is. That for me, I often tell the story that Black studies literally saved my life personally, right? I went to Berkeley High School, which was the only high school in the country with a Black studies department. And everyone that I know of my generation who came out under Mr. Navy's, our lives were changed. This was in the middle of the crack cocaine epidemic when the government was ravaging our neighborhoods, but we had Black studies to plant our feet firmly in our history, to remind us of who we are. It planted seeds that may not have taken root, like in my situation. Those seeds didn't take root for years, but it pushed me into studying Black studies at Howard University and now becoming a professor of Pan-African studies. So the reason they're trying to derail it and tell lies about what enslavement is or has been is because they don't want new generations of people to be empowered. And so we have to, as Brother Orrin is doing and has done, I think, not just push back, but find spaces of autonomy where we tell the true story of who we are, we remember who we are, and we support real Black studies. I want everybody to know about the National Council for Black Studies. We are a real discipline, the National Council for Black Studies, and follow real Black Studies scholars like Greg Carr and Amilcar Shabazz and many, many others, so that we can, again, Black Studies is the only discipline that comes out of struggle and has an intention of freeing Black people.
Yeah, I think those are all great points. I always feel like part of the reason for this pushback is because of what happened in 2020, where you saw a lot of young people, not just Black people, but, other people, white people, Latino people, starting to display an understanding of our history of systemic racism, and that's what they've deemed wokeness. And that's, I think that there's this fear of them losing their own children.
That's right. And I mean, you brought up, and you've been talking about what happened last night, or the video that came out last night in Ohio. Immediately, we know the history of dogs being sicked on Black people, right? Immediately, it reminds us this is not a single incident, that these institutions are built to produce these outcomes. And so it is wokeness, but who would rather be asleep, right? I'd rather be awake so that we can fight unjust systems and build the world that our children deserve.
Yeah, and I think that's right. To me, the opposite of woke is zombie, right? Someone who just goes along without even having consciousness at all, and just goes along just goes along mindlessly, literally mindlessly. I guess we've lost Dr. Melinah Abdullah. I appreciate the call. The incident that I was talking about is, something that happened over July 4th, but the video just came out where a bunch of cops are they're chasing a Black man. It's a high-speed chase. It was a long chase. Apparently, they pulled him over. The young man, it was in a truck, a tractor-trailer truck, whatever. He gets out of the car, goes down on his knees, hands up. A state trooper is saying, don't release the dog on him, but the cop does it anyway. And the young man is mauled by this dog. And he's screaming for help. It's a terrible video. But yet, it doesn't seem that unusual. Sadly, it doesn't seem that unusual at all. And the videotape is quite clear, quite horrifying. So that's what I'm referring to. It shows the dog biting the young man and the man screaming, and this guy just releases the dog on him, even though he's already got his hands up and he's already surrendered. Dr. Abdullah, you're back.
I'm back.
I give you the last word here before the top of the hour.
So we absolutely have to fight. We have to. Last night I was talking to folks. They said, what do we do about it? What we do about it is we support real Black studies. What we do about it is push back. What we do about it is follow real Black studies scholars. We vote with our feet, encourage our children to major in and take Black studies classes. And then, we got to think about other things like putting our money where our mouth is and boycott Florida, maybe. Maybe that's what the call is.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, if they don't, if we haven't done it yet, it seems like DeSantis is going to keep giving us more and more reasons until we're forced to boycott Florida.
That's right. We got beaches in California. We're good.
That's right. And every time you call in, we always say follow Black Lives Matter grassroots and BLMLA, and listen on Saturday. And
I'm sorry.
And great show on Saturday with LA Times columnist Erica Smith. I guess it's up on Facebook if folks want to see it, right?
Yeah, it's on Facebook.com/BLMLA. But BLM Grassroots on all social media for our global work.
Awesome. Dr. Melinah Abdullah, thank you.
Thank you.
We're talking relationships after news, traffic, and sports. It is a messy Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Mega Millions jackpot is closing in on $1 billion. No one won Friday's drawing, making tomorrow's drawing worth at least $820 million.